Welcome to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees regular work session and special annual organizational meeting. It's December 23rd, 2014, approximately 8 o'clock a.m. Mr. Burning, may we please have the roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Burning?
Present.
Mrs. McFarland?
Present.
Mr. Honolaw?
Present.
All are triple.
And now if everyone could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Mr. Hennekamp, do you have an administrator's report for us?
A very brief report. The only item I have under discussion is just Chris, I don't know if it was actually a request or we became aware of a situation back on Vincennes Court, pretty much directly behind us here, where there's a street light that's has been paid for, I guess, a number of years by the homeowner, has apparently years ago requested the energy company, probably CG&E at the time and now Duke, to install and has been paying for it, and then they're leaving.
The previous homeowner that did it, a new homeowner bought the home and noticed it on a utility bill and said, I don't want to pay for this. And Duke had told him it was a previous homeowner who had been paying for it.
So the only question is, we've had the departments look at it as we customarily do to see if there's anything unusual about the situation, if it's a safety area where we would want to put that on our streeting light. They really didn't come back with anything, so I think the only reason we're bringing it is it's there. So before Duke comes out and takes it off and removes it, do we want to include that? The recommendation at this point is that it doesn't meet any of our criteria for being in an unusual situation or a high traffic area or presenting, an area that has otherwise safety concerns. So
Where is this light? At the cul-de-sac on Vincennes?
Well, if it doesn't create any safety issues and it was something that an individual just wanted himself.
Oh.
People on the street don't want to pay for it?
Well, apparently, as Chris was saying, and I don't know the origin of it, but apparently the homeowner of
Right,
the house years ago wanted it, paid for it, and has been paying for it for this many years, and now it's under a new homeowner who's saying, I don't want it. So the person there, I don't know they're necessarily opposed to the light, but they don't want to pay for it.
Nobody wants to pay for it.
No, nobody.
Well, I don't know that nobody does. I mean, I haven't polled everyone on the street because it was a situation where it's currently being paid for by one property owner. And he's
Right.
actually requested Duke to remove it. Duke just called us and said, hey, before we do this, does the township want to pay for it?
What I've seen, if there's one person paying for it and then you start trying to engage all the other individuals on that whole street, you might have people that are renting or basically they won't want to pay for
To
it.
be honest with you, I mean, in order to do that, you have to create a lighting district
Right.
For one light.
for
Yeah,
one
you're-
light.
No, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, unless one other individual wants to pay for it, or we do,
Right.
there's not going to be a way where they can all share it unless they do it, unofficially.
Well, I don't think it's something we
Well,
should
and then
take
you're going
over.
to run into the problem if you, let's say the next door neighbor said they did want to pay for it, the homeowner would say, I don't want it on my property.
It's not on his property.
It's on utility pole.
It is on the utility.
Oh, okay.
It's just that it's in the right of way, it's on the utility pole, but was paid for.
Well, I think our policy's been in the past that if there's not some special safety reason, some
Correct.
public reason why the township ought to undertake the obligation, that we won't.
Yeah, I don't think we
Or
should.
should
What
not.
we could do, maybe if you're okay with it, we'll contact the rest of the homeowners in case somebody else does want it, if you want us to, before they take it down, because
That's not a
obviously
bad
it'd
idea.
be a lot less expensive.
Because I can't imagine
Take
it
it
costs
down
that
and
much
install it.
for one street light.
It's about $10 to $15 a month.
That can add up at the end of the year.
Pay it.
Yeah.
We'll check with the homeowners.
Check with them, they might, yeah. If somebody else wants to take it, yeah.
Then they can take over the bidding.
Right.
If not, we'll tell Duke to, we're not going to put it on our
Most likely it would be those individuals within that cul-de-sac as well, not way
Right.
down the street.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
streetlights are funny. Sometimes people don't, they love them, they want them. Other times they want it down, so it's really, amazing sometimes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's really the only, the discussion item. The only other thing we have is a resolution, and this is kind of our year-end, just one resolution, amazingly. I think could be a record, Kim, for the fewest year-end resolutions. But this is a supplemental appropriation within the general fund, police district fund, and fire district fund. I think most of this has to do, Kim, with, sort of the VOX variables and comp center, some comp center things that came in late with some increases.
Okay, with that, we have resolution number 94, 2014, which is supplemental appropriations within the general fund, police district fund, and fire district fund. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Is there any more business before the board on this final work session of the year?
I have none.
Okay. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn the work session portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Second it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's adjourned.
Then we'll move over to our special annual organizational meeting for 2015. And the first thing I'll do is, Mr. Burning, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Bernie?
Present?
Ms. McFarland?
Present?
Mr. Honolo?
Present.
All are present.
And the first thing that we'll do here is, Mr. Burning, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you to accept motions for nomination of the chairman of the board and vice chairman.
Do we have a nomination for the chairman of the board?
I would make a motion to nominate Gwen McFarland as chairman.
Seconded?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland will be the chair.
And at that point,
Just a second, I gotta write something down real quick. Do we have a motion for the vice chair?
I would like to nominate Mark Burning, vice chair of the board.
Any seconds?
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie is the vice chair.
All right, and Gwen, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Honeywell. We're going to begin with the establishment of the meetings and places for our meetings for 2015. And I would like to propose that we continue with our regular meetings on the second Tuesday with the exception of January. And that meeting in January would be January the 20th. Otherwise, we would continue with the regular meetings. And then also propose that we return our work sessions back to this fourth Tuesdays of the month. That just makes it a little easier and a little cleaner, to take care of our business in a timely manner. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm okay with that. I think it actually maybe makes more sense that you're just thinking it's Tuesday's the meeting day, versus jumping around.
Tuesday actually probably in the long run would work better for me, but
Okay.
either one's fine with me.
That's fine with me. Tuesday works good.
Okay. Then we don't have to have a motion for that, do we?
Oh, I think we probably should.
Well, we should.
Absolutely, you're establishing those for the year. We did look at these and the obvious conflict that you pointed out, Gwen. The January one would be the third Tuesday, so
Right.
that one's sort of the outlier. But then, basically, your regular meeting, the second Tuesday, your other one on the fourth, and it doesn't, throughout the year, there's no conflict with any holidays or anything, so that stays pretty consistent this year.
Does that,
Second Tuesday, 5:30 and 4:30.
5:30 to 4:30, that's correct.
Correct, the work session would be at 4:30. Is that what you want to do?
Yes,
Regular
I'd like
meetings
to
at
do that.
5:30 and then.
Yes.
Our work sessions at 4:30,
Like
yes.
they've always been, right?
Need a motion, let's do them individually. Need a motion to establish for 2015 all of our regular meetings on the second Tuesday of each month at 5:30, with the exception of January the 20th, which would be the third Tuesday. We would meet on the third Tuesday that month versus the second.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Whereas I like our work sessions to be at 4:30 on the fourth Tuesday of each month, at 4:30. Yeah, and versus the way they have been in the past. So we're going to have a new meetings on the fourth Tuesday of each month at 4:30.
4:30.
With the exception of January.
With the exception of January.
None in January.
None in January, because of the meeting that we're having on January the 20th.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Moving right along, we have resolutions. Resolution number 1, 2015, adopting temporary appropriations for fiscal year 2015. Need a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 2, 2015, authorizing payment of officials' insurance premiums. Need a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Mr. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 3, 2015, requesting participation in contracts of ODOT for the purchase of machinery, materials, supplies, or other articles. Need a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next resolution is number 4, 2015, resolution requesting the county auditor to make advance payment of taxes.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next resolution is number 5, 2015, a resolution express intent to sell personal properties not needed for public use, is obsolete or unfit for the use for which it was acquired by internet auction. Need a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Final resolution is number 6, 2015, a resolution authorizing the township administrator to incur obligations on behalf of the township up to $2,500.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries. Man, you guys are moving too fast for me.
It's okay, we're all right. Give you a minute to breathe.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay.
You did them all now.
Now, as we continue to follow the agenda, board members, we need to need a motion for the chief fiscal officer, to nominate the chief fiscal officer for the purpose of signing OPWC and SCIP project applications.
So moved.
Seconded.
You may want to go ahead. You're naming your fiscal officer.
Right, our fiscal
It's
officer.
kind of confusing because they're asking you to name a fiscal officer. And because we're a township, it is the fiscal officer, but
Right.
you may want
Right.
to just include by name that it is actually
Dan
Dan
Burning.
Burning, the fiscal officer, to serve as the fiscal officer for that purpose.
Okay.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next motion I need to name the chief executive officer for the purpose of signing OPWC and SCIP grant documents, which would be the board chair. which would
And
be
I'll make a
myself.
motion that we nominate Gwen McFarland for that purpose.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And next, we need to name the project manager for the purpose of signing OPWC and SCIP project documents, which would be the service director, which would be Mr. Musselman.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. I'd like to now turn the meeting over to Mr. Henningkamp for your report.
Thank Mr. McFarland, have just several action items. The first is to authorize the finance director to invest in certificates when funds are available.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item I have is to request a motion to approve salaries for 2015 for township personnel.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then the last action item I have is for the board to approve the township HSA incentive program. I know we've gone over this at great length. It's included in both of our CBA agreements. And then we've just sort of finalized exactly how that will work in terms of when payments will be made, the first payment being made in January the 16th, and then there'll be two subsequent payments. One is February 20th, and then the other one is, I think, April the 10th. And those payments are sort of incentive-based, so employees have to do some things to earn that, some wellness initiatives to earn that. I know the board's had a chance to look at it, so unless there's questions, just need a motion to approve that process.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next items I have are just appointments, and the first is to appoint members to the Springfield Township Arts and Enrichment Council. Those members would be the same as current. This would be for a 2-year term. They're coming off their first 2-year term, if you can believe it's already been 2 years
like
since
it's
that's
been
been
that long.
created. But Kim Flam would serve as the president, Tom Schneider as the vice president and secretary, Kim Cox as the treasurer, Sean Moss at an at-large position, and Marie Ballinger also at at-large. And as I mentioned, those are all the current members being reappointed for 2 more years.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next appointment would be to the JED, that is the JEDD Board, and that would be to appoint Kim Cox, our finance director, as a member for a term ending on December 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next appointment would be to appoint Mr. Honorlaw and myself to the Hamilton County Tax Incentive Review Council. This is a council that reviews tax abatements that have been granted. Currently, there are none. There are no companies that have a tax abatement or are in the middle of a contract. So we haven't met, Joe, I think, for a couple of years. There were several
Right.
companies that have come off their abatements, but
Used to, yeah.
in the event that there are some new abatements granted, this would be the council that meets yearly to review those.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next appointment would be to appoint Daniel Depperman to a 5-year term ending on December the 31st, 2019, and this appointment would be to the Springfield Township Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then the final appointment would be to appoint Randy Abercrombie to a 5-year term, also ending December 31st, 2019, and this would be to the Springfield Township Board of Zoning Appeals.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that is all I have, Ms. McDonough.
Busy agenda for today, for this year. We're getting off to a great start. Other actions, basically, I have none other than to remind everyone that our next meeting will be January the 20th, 2015 at 5:30 PM. You guys, Mr. Honorlaw, do you have any additional comments?
Nothing further.
Just Merry Christmas.
Mr. Bernie, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year.
Let's hit them all.
Yes. Then I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.